I'm sorry, you'll get to know me. I am a California girl and I just have tons and tons of energy, so that's me giving out my little victory cry because here we are. We are ready to do our first weekly report for energy. So, excuse me one second. I want to pull up the weather because that is part of my prediction. So, guys, for those of you who work in energy, post please and back me up if you see this. Our markets and the cost that shows up in your bill if you've watched my other videos, you've seen floating the market, if you're off contract, when your price, sometimes it's one price and at other times it's another price. It is based on the things we're going to talk about today. So, I hope you've got your glass of wine and your popcorn because we're going to be here for a few minutes and I promise it will be time well spent. We're going to talk about what has happened this week in energy with this morning storage report and how the weather may or may not tie into the prediction for what's going to happen next week. So, as promised, these are simple and complicated solutions to our energy market, to understanding what happens in our energy market, and so just keep watching these every week because it keeps on moving and I want you guys to understand what you're paying for and why you're paying for it. So here we go. Okay, I had another video on bull versus bear. If that term is not familiar to you, then watch that video and come back to this. Okay. Bear drivers, things that might cause the market to go up versus the equally possible bull driver. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the bull drivers that would drive the market to go down because I'm silly. This is a good time to take a drink. You know. Right, so bear drivers, they make the price in market go down. Bull makes it go up. So, possible factors that could make the cost of the natural gas energy commodity according to the NYMEX, and there are a couple of specific lines for Indiana Trade Hub, so I'll go over those too, but things that could make the cost of natural gas, which also shows up in the cost of electricity, which could make that cost go low. For this week, we have had an increase in drilling productivity. So year over year, we are 15.8% more natural gas pulled out of the United States shales, wherever they may be collectively, to the tune of 15.8%. So that is the kind of thing that might make the cost of natural gas go down because we got a little bit more of it. On the other side of that, okay, so it's important to remember, bull and bear exist simultaneously. There are things that could make it go up and things that could drive it down. So this is a guess world, and this is where someone like me comes in handy because I can give an educated guess based on my personal philosophy. So I have a tendency to be very conservative. Other people are a little bit more risky and they don't mind playing that market and letting things, go up, 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 and then drop down and strike. But I happen to be of the mind that for most people, playing around with that hundredth or tenth of a cent that moves is risky. So I like to be conservative because when you fix your cost, you don't have to worry about it. Anyway, enough of that. Back to the bull versus bear. Okay, so that's a bear driver. Maybe our price will go down a little bit because we got a little more gas out of the ground than we did the last year. On the other side of that, our storage level is a little higher than it was at this time last year. So right now our storage level is at 3,205 BCF. That is basically the amount of gas that we, like I said before, kitty away. We save it for a rainy day. If we have a problem in our infrastructure, if we're not pulling stuff out of the ground, if we need more than our fair share for any given week, we dip into storage. And when we dip into storage, we deplete our stores. So just think of natural gas storage as like your little food pantry. And maybe you've got 6 cans of green beans, but you just had family drop in on you and you didn't think they were going to be there, but doggone it, you're a good host, so you're going to go back there and do your best. And guess what? Everybody's having green bean casserole. Trust me, if I'm a guest in your home, I'm not going to complain. I can eat an entire green bean casserole completely by myself. But your pantry is going to be a little low after that. So once you check your, cupboard, and before you go to the supermarket and your husband says, hey babe, what's in there? That's what the natural gas storage report is. It's what's left every single Thursday. Another factor is demand response. Now this is really cool, and if you don't know what that term means, then I want you to search demand response MightyEM. I promise you I'm going to make you your own video. You want to know about demand response. It's a way for business owners and even homeowners to make a little money. So you definitely want to hear about it. And I'm sorry if my email keeps going off, but I consult full-time on the side. So sorry, but they come through on my Mac and you'll hear the sound. Anyway, so we've got demand response happening now in PJM, which is Illinois and all the states surrounding Illinois, but not, New York. New York has its own kind of territory line, not Georgia, not Florida. But PJM is a collective market space, which is now involved in the demand response program, which basically means when we don't have enough energy to go around, big users get paid a little bit of money to stop using energy so that homeowners and small businesses can still have it. So again, look for that video, Demand Response MightyEM, and I'll post one for you. That could drive the cost down because people are participating in that, and so if you think supply and demand, supply gets affected, so they release supply, and then demand can be met. That could drive the price down because a lot of people are saying in PJM, pick us, we want to participate. Okay? But at the same time, because again, there's two schools of philosophy, LNG. It's the most exciting thing to happen to the energy industry. Liquid natural gas and condensed natural gas is such an exciting industry. Again, this is on the part that I make money on, this is where I get really excited because this is an exportable commodity. There are other countries who want to buy what we own in the ground, what you have in your backyard. They want to buy it. And our first major final approval was pushed through for a company on the East Coast. There are 14 more contracts to export liquid natural gas, which is going to potentially make the cost go up. So not just the United States of America needing gas, but other foreign nations wanting to buy it. So that's the other side of that argument, right? You got both sides. One could happen, the other could happen. You don't really know. But that's why you need somebody like me, because I watch it every single week. And guess what? Now you get to watch it too, if you're paying attention and if you care to. So the next thing that could drive the cost of energy down, another bearish factor, right? Bears bear down, bulls push up. That's basically another bear driver is transmission. So that is the ability for the energy infrastructure to actually deliver the energy you need. Think of it as road repair, if you will. Ameren, if you live in Illinois, you know Ameren, that's your guy, but you have a choice, and if you didn't know that, you need to. In Ameren, we have a lot of new transmission or infrastructure being built. So that's tracking through 2018. Now, again, I hate to keep breaking off, but this is why the energy markets are so complicated. Homeowners, just general dudes, Joe, Amy, Frank, I don't know who you are, but you need to know that what drives the cost of what you pay in your bill is much more complicated than just the whims of someone out there. And our infrastructure and generation are a humongous part of that. So the fact that Ameren wants to update their lines so that more of the energy that travels through those lines actually makes it to power your computer and watch me drink wine. The more of that power that can actually travel through those lines and doesn't get lost that they have to pay for, the less you have to pay for it. So that could drive the cost of natural gas and thus electricity, they are tied together, that could drive that cost down. Drink break. If you've got yours, take a drink too. Alrighty. On the flip side of that, we have Michigan adding supply. So again, this is a bull driver. This could drive the cost of energy up because in Michigan, one of their major new projects uses natural gas to create and generate energy. In Texas, 70% of every single kilowatt hour of energy is created by natural gas. When Texas gets hot, gas goes up because we need more air conditioning. So we have to have more electricity. And that's how that relationship works. So the fact that we have another electricity site coming on in Michigan, which that is, it's a demanding state. My Michiganians, I think it's Michiganians. I hope you'll correct me if I'm wrong. You poor people, the winters you endure as a Texan and a Californian, I must tell you, my snow cap is off to you. But not to worry because you won't have to endure those rolling blackouts. Well, you probably don't get them in the winter anyway because you're gas states. But you have a new power plant coming online, and it's going to require natural gas to create its energy, so the cost could go up. We also have the weather forecast. Weather plays a huge part. So as far as things that which could make the cost of energy gas lower, we're forecasting a pretty warm fall right now. That means your heating is not going to go on and you're just not going to use as much natural gas. But also we've got we've got a coal shortage, so that means that even though it's pretty warm and you don't need a lot of natural gas for your heating, we might be using it because there's really not enough coal to go around, so we have to make more energy somehow. So that on the other side could drive the cost up. Lastly, on the bullish, you've got this major factor which could drive the cost up, and that is that the Dow Jones showed a positive growth. And so remember, if nothing else, energy is a commodity, and that's my son. Energy is a commodity, and it trades just like corn or silver or gold does. And if people are interested in buying, then guess what? You're going to pay a little more for it. So that's this last week. Stay tuned next Thursday. I'll be happy to show you what's happening in the gas reports and how it relates to energy a week from today. And so here is my little prediction on the energy strips, and I hope you follow it. A tool that I use, and it's an iPad app. It's super easy. It's Brentling Oil and Gas. I have to switch away from it because I wasn't up on it, but let's see. Oh, shoot. Well, anyway, it's Brentling Oil and Gas. You can't see it. That really sucks. I'm going to stop doing that. I promise you. I'm so sorry. Look on there for your futures. I think the cost of natural gas is going to stay low today and tomorrow. I think it's going to go up just a little bit at the beginning of the week, and hopefully it'll go down toward the end of the week. And check back next week to see if I'm right. Thanks. Get mighty on your side.